Okay, so I just installed the Speedhut cluster speedometer with the GPS. I did not know how to approach this. It was too many cables and it looked complicated, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but it turned out that it was actually simple. For my CJ at least. I'm gonna explain real quick. I didn't do a video on how I put it on and how I connect everything, but because I didn't have nobody to hold the camera or whatever. But it's actually very simple in my situation, and I'm just gonna explain how to do it to help out those people who might want to be doing the same thing and they don't know how to do it either. So hopefully this will help. The fuel gauge and the temperature gauge, they do come with a plug in the back. I believe it's pink and yellow, I believe. And the same thing goes, is a plug for this tool right here. What you do is you have to cut the wires that you're going to use from the old cluster, from the harness in your Jeep, to match the ones that come with the cluster, with the speedometer. All right, so what you do is, in my case, I use the high beam. I cut the cable and I joined it with the cable from the high beam on this one, which will be, I believe it was number 1. And then it just go on, and I cut the cable from the Jeep harness. The green with the white line, I believe, is the left signal, and the other green with the just plain green is the right signal. And you just keep going down like that. And I would not be using the emergency drive or whatever this thing was, or the other emergency brake. I don't have those hooked up on my emergency, so I didn't cut them or do nothing. Now, you also have on the new cluster, you have red, white, and black wires that are very long, and they also come with 3 connectors. They're all the same. They are red, white, and black also. They're telling you to use and put all the black wires to that, and all the white wires to that connectors. You'll receive a little piece of paper with all those instructions. The red wire, you have to put on the fuse that comes with the instructions. It's a 5 amp fuse, I believe. You get the power from when you put the switch on. It will activate. It will give it power. You hook up the fuse to that, and then the fuse goes to the red connector, and then you get the red wire from the new cluster, and you hook it up to the red connector. You just snap it in place. Now, they're telling you to use white wires to the white connector. Well, we don't have, as you know, white wires. We have orange wires and black for the lights, for disconnectors. So what you do is you take the the one orange connector, and you put it on the white connector. Remember, white connector to the orange cable, which will be for the lights, and then the white cable that's from the cluster goes to that connector. You following? So now, then you have left the black wire, the black long wire, and that goes to ground. Okay, I have a fiberglass body, so I have a ground that goes from the battery to the dash, and it's a pretty thick wire. I hooked it up to the handle over there behind it. And then I grab that wire that is long in the back of the cluster, and I hook it up to the dash. So now you have the black wire grounded, the white connector with the white wire to the orange, and the red wire to the connector with the 5 amp fuse that comes with it, hooked to positive that is activated when you turn on the key. Then to the fuel sending unit, there's the long wire that goes towards the back of the fuel sending unit, that has a black wire and a white wire. The black wire, you have to get a connector and put it on, and then ground that to the chassis. Of course, you know that you have to have a ground to the chassis from the battery or the engine block and so on. That's common sense. But for those who don't know, so then the white wire, you also put a connector and you put it on the top of the sending unit, and then you just plug it in to its label to the fuel sending unit in the back of the cluster. And the same thing goes for the temperature sending unit. You gotta go put it through the firewall, install the new sending unit. If it is too long, you have to cut it, but try to cut it. Don't use a wheel cutter. Use a hacksaw or something that can cut. It's bronze, so, and that way you can just, if you don't have to cut it, fine. But if you have to cut it, just cut it with a hacksaw and put it on. Use pipe thread. Put it in. It plugs in top of it, and then it actually goes through the firewall to the back of the cluster. It's a plug-in. You can't mess it up. So then after everything is done and you have your ground wires and your positive and everything, you have to come in and push this button. This is important. You have to push this button and then turn the switch on for power while you're holding the button. This will take you to the menu, and then it will give you the fuel calibration menu. You click on it and you choose 7010, which is the closest I got for the Jeep, and it will be set. Now, as you can see, it reads a quarter. This light will be on. I called Speedhut, and they do have a situation where they chose to have that light turn on when the needle goes 1/4. It is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. You can't get rid of it unless you put more fuel in it. Then once it's all done and you got it all plugged in and it's grounded and you got power, then you just turn the key on and watch it do this thing. It's all good, and the fuel gauge is working. So hopefully this video will help somebody. Good luck. Bye bye.